Hello and welcome back everyone to Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. We are still here. We're just getting back to Kew Gardens to check out the staff quarters. While I was on my way there, I looked at the deductions and it showed poisoning plants and the theft, so I put those two deductions together and let me show you what I pulled up. Oh, wrong one. There we go. The poisoning and deadly plant stolen. So like that, it doesn't do nothing now, but it brought up this one. So, alright. Now we need to search.
Locked.
Dude, you need to unlock the door.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Right?
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Oh, I don't believe this guy.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
Well, what kind of lifestyle are we talking
You
about?
mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, he was a player. Okay.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before, and now all of a sudden he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh yes, he forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech.
Okay.
But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
A little jealousy there.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Let's go find Albert and get the keys to this joint. He should still be in here, right? Yep.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me.
She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Okay.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Did you guys catch the fact that he's
At the
only
moment,
one-
I'm just
all his
dealing with the
jobs is to get
storage
it
room.
clean?
I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path. I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens.
What?
My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Right?
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honor of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
Then how can you
I
manage
see.
it?
And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
So he was a prick. Okay, give us the
Do
keys.
you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom.
Why?
The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
That's alright, we're gonna pick that lock. Telling you. Let's see what kind of deductions we got before. Nope. Nope. Alright. Well, we got the keys. And we got to find a use for that thing still. Okay. Alright guys, well we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. We got the keys, we're going to start breaking into these doors, and I'm sure we're going to pick a lock to that cloakroom because we just do that. Anyway, this is a snapshot again saying, remember, keep on gaming.